for the purpose of warding this conversation and creating a sacred circle in which no energy that is harsh, hurtful, or has an intention to harm will be permitted in this space. To anyone who is listening to this right now, anything in your space that should not be is leaving your space right now so that you can get this Akashic download. This is serious. This is very important. Now that we've created the sacred space, let me tell you what's happening. The last few times I experienced Devoke 91, and the symptoms were different each time. The symptoms of the Omi, that they got going on right now impacts the inside of your ears, which can show up as ringing in the ears, buzzing, your ears feeling plugged like you've been swimming or something and there's some water in it, just pressure in the ears for those of us who are super empathic and energetically sensitive, and with just the ear alone and what the capabilities are of that body part signify what's happening spiritually. They are trying to block people's ears from being able to receive the truth. Now, sometimes it is the ancestors or your spirit guides letting you know that they're with you and to pay attention. But sometimes it is the other side, of the spiritual battle that is manipulating our senses to block our ability to hear the conversations happening in the ethers, in the Akash, in the fifth element, which is the Akashic Record Library, the quantum field of higher consciousness that contains all answers to everything past, present, and future. This is where they got the idea for creating a cloud to store all of our data and information. This is just a copycat situation going on in the simulation. And when you have the ability to see the zeros and ones, you receive illumination, which is represented by Lucifer. And this is why it was so important for them to program the world to think that Lucifer was something bad, evil, and to stay away from, because enlightenment, the morning star, the rising sun inside of you, is the ability for you to be in your crystal state of being and perceive things through a 5D consciousness. So, as we are shifting into being 5D towers, 5D temples, as we are healing ourselves, as we are confronting things that scared the shit out of us, we dealing with it, we facing it, we doing the best that we can right now. We really, a lot of us, even when you feel like you're not doing the best you can, you really are. When you feel like you're not doing enough, that's when you really are doing enough. Everything is upside down, right? We are in the upside down world depicted in Stranger Things. So most things, try to look at them in reverse. Experience them in reverse. Find a reverse belief that's going to benefit you so that you're not using expired beliefs anymore, which is all of the conditioning that creates how we deal with life. So, now that this is happening, both of my ears are ringing. And it's been like this the whole time I've been experiencing this Devoke 91. And this is exactly what my body should be doing in response to what's happening. It's fighting it. Raising the temperature within the body, we call it fever. And fever has been demonized. Fever is a gift. It is a furnace inside of us created to kill the pathogens that are being dropped on us, allegedly, in the movie, the simulation, right? So, okay, we're receiving upgrades. We're learning how to listen to the wind and feel what the wind is saying and pick up messages from the ancestors, all of these things. We're learning. We're learning how to do this little by little. Whether you are consciously, mindful of it or not, it's happening. And the inside, right? And it's putting fear in them. Because they know what happens when we are in our true self. Right? When we really know who we are, our purpose, our limitations, our gifts, right? It's the knowing. So with my ears being like this, I projected myself into my ears to see what was going on, and I saw all of this stuff that be in the chemtrails inside of my ears, the nanoparticles, the smart dust. And so I asked it, why are you inside of my ear? How did you get there? And the answer was from the chemtrails. And I was like, oh, okay. So I asked, well, what have you been programmed to do? And they said, we've been programmed to block you from hearing spirit speak. I was like, oh, okay. There's a program inside of the hard drive that any temple we enter into, that's what we have been programmed to do. I was like, oh, okay. All right. So will this impact my inner dialogue and the way I think? Will I be hearing things in my mind that may not really be me or true or harmful to be thinking about? And they said, yes, that's exactly what we've been programmed to do. So in the middle of a conversation, someone may be giving you a compliment, but you're going to hear them putting you down. And your mind is going to be activated to respond to that in the same negative way you've been doing as a result of your trauma and conditioning. We don't want you to evolve and grow. We want you to be in the sunken place where we can control you. So you're going to be upset in the conversation and feeling like the other person is being sarcastic or, being critical, judgmental, right? And you're going to get triggered. And the way to go mind virus that we created a long time ago, right? It's triggered and you will be in a state of fight or flight. And if you are not using the disciplines to stop this, then by default, you're going to just do some old 3D Matrix OU shit so that you can stay stuck where you are. I was like, oh, okay. So I asked my I Divine Self, what can I do to short circuit what's happening inside my ears that's showing up as a virus, right? But when you look at viruses spiritually, what they are it's a form of spiritual warfare on the level of the molecular structures, right, within the virus. The communication is happening inside of the body on a spiritual level. So the solution is a few drops of dark crystal elixir in each ear that I've been using. And I turn my head over and I lay to the side for about 3 minutes, make sure it's down in there good, and then I do the other ear. That has helped a lot, and I'm really mind blown at the amount of AKASHIC downloads I'm getting now. I'm getting them more often, and I can simply ask the universe a question, and within minutes, even seconds, sometimes hours, and sometimes a day or two, depending on the intensity of what the question is, how deep the question is, and the answer is coming back to me much quicker. So it's kind of like the pool at water parks, where you just kind of get in a floaty and the water just rotates around in one big circle. That's what consciousness, how the fifth element ether, the AKASH, that holds all of this information, that's the way it moves. It's not linear. There's no beginning and no end, right? And this is why, like, the swirl represents creation in life, right? Nothing is linear and within the spiritual realm. So after I put the dark crystal elixir in throughout the day, I would just journal what I'm hearing and the way I'm hearing and translating what people are saying to me, right? And I'm noticing I don't get offended by hardly nothing, and a lot of the things that used to offend me don't offend me anymore. So I know that's because beneath whatever the conversation is, and let's just say it's a grumpy cashier, right, and I'm asking a question and they being rude, that used to bother me. It doesn't bother me now because I have been doing the work, and I realize that everybody has a story. Everybody is going through something, and that isn't a personal thing that she was doing to upset me, right? That was someone going through the same shit I go through, but having to work while going through it. And hell, her child could have came up missing 5 minutes before I got there from daycare, but she couldn't clock out and leave work, and get there because she don't have a car and she had to get dropped off at work. You know what I'm saying? These are examples that I've been picking up on when I interact in other people's auric field. And that's just one example of many. As an empath, any place you walk in, you hear and feel so many things, and you just look at people and you know their story, right? You get glimpses of their stories. So I digress, because that's a conversation for another video if y'all would like to go into that. But back to the Devoke 91 Ami, this Ami one. So it affects the ears and the senses, and it also affects the lymphatics inside of the brain. So you may be forgetting more stuff, especially short-term memory, having a lot of brain fog, not being able to focus, kind of feeling like ADHD. Maybe you are hyperactive in your thoughts and you have a difficult time meditating because you're thinking about so many things, right? If you not making decisions because you're just kind of stuck in your thoughts, right, then you're not able to follow the spirit and listen to your intuition and your heart because you're stuck in your thoughts, right? Just like being stuck in a room with a TV in front of you, and you just keep looking at it and looking at it and looking at it. And even though what you're looking at is signaling something to you, right, for you to shift, you just are stuck. And so this is how we get in a sunken place where we're no longer evolving. and we take 2 steps forwards and 2 steps back kind of thing. That's how it happens on an energetic level, feeling stuck, right? And you can really get up and walk out of that room, but you don't know that you can because you're so triggered. So you're just doing whatever your ego has programmed you to do when you don't feel safe, right? When you need to be protected from something. So in conversations, you will hear what's really happening. And so if your child scream at you and say something, instead of taking it personal, you'll be able to feel the energy and experience, oh, my baby is going through some clearing of her own right now, right? She's purging some of the trauma she experienced while she was in my womb, you know? And that's the only way she know how to get it out. And let her have her feelings, and then later we can talk about it. Hey, babe, why did that upset you so much? You know, what can I do to help? And then that's how you break generational curses, you see? And some of them people say that they can teach you how to do that, but I just have not experienced too often someone actually giving answers that made sense and were answers that I've never heard before and were effective. And that's not a put down. I'm just acknowledging the fact that I may be the first person to teach alchemy in this way, right? So transmitting the energy of love instead of transmitting the energy of trauma ultimately is how you transcend trauma, right? So the smart dust and the nanoparticles and all of that stuff, yes, is doing what it's doing, but we're doing what we're doing too, right? So we got this. We got this. We got this. Even when we feel like we don't, we got this shit, right? We got it. And the memory portion of it and forgetting a lot of stuff, don't worry about it. Go in your heart and just keep asking your heart to tell you and lead you, okay? Don't even sweat it. When it happens, you don't even have to say things like, oh, my memory's so bad. Don't judge it. It just says what it is. It's fine. But if our memory is, they fucking with our memory on some Man in Black shit on a collective level to try to stop the awakening, that's when you shelter yourself in your heart. And just by asking your heart, going into the back of your heart, it's dark back there. That's the part of the heart that has been repressed all the way in the back, behind all of the shit that broke your heart, right? When you get deep back there, get that activated, and that feminine energy of the heart, right? And you start to feel safer, you start to feel supported, you start to feel the energy of the mother, Mama Earth, cosmic mama, the feminine energy, the feminine particles in which created creation itself, and you start to have a different experience even though your situation in life hasn't changed. So when you get into your heart that way, despite all of the other symptoms that you may be experiencing from that or even the vaccine, know that you can transcend the weapons, right, that are being used right now and continue your awakening. You got this. And that is tapping into the Akash, the Akashic Library. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. Okay? And I am going to be sharing so much more on the podcast tonight. So be sure to go to newverselive.com and sign up for the podcast. I'm so excited to be able to teach you how I received these Akashic downloads that I just gave you. And the activated energy that you feel from this transmission, I'm sure you feel it right now immensely. So be sure to drop something in the comments and let me know how this impacted you. How are you feeling? What are you sensing? What are you thinking about? What did it spark? What do you know that you would like to share with me? After you get through doing that, go to newverselive.com, the link right here in the description, and join us tonight, because I would like for as many of us as possible to begin using these strategies so that we do not perpetuate the very trauma that has been tormenting us daily, and to our children, children's children, and even if you're single and it's just you. You don't want to be in a state of perpetual trauma, pain, and suffering anymore. And we deserve to exit 3D Matrix Prison Planet Hell energy. We deserve it, right? We are worthy. So don't get me started, because I'll go into a whole motivational situation. But just know, when the chosen ones come together, the more of us that are there, the quantum field around us, no matter what you are doing, even if you're just observing what's happening, it's going to change particles to waves, and it's going to take on many different beautiful high vibrational forms so that we can anchor this grid on the planet and continue to ascend and transcend the things that have just been really, really miserable to experience. Like, this is such an exciting time to be able to do this. So let me digress again. Click the link. I cannot wait to see you there. Over 43% of y'all said this is what you wanted, and I am so ready to give it to you. 43%. Y'all just killed it on the polls in the community chat. Thank you. So, slide on over there. And we got some surprises too, some surprise announcements. We love to give out gifts and surprises and freebies, and that's my love language, giving. So join us tonight, and make sure that you bring your questions. If you have some questions, if I spark some questions, bring your questions, and I will be making sure that me and Ernest interact with some of your questions. We may not get all of them, but we will definitely be getting questions and answering them for you. And that's one of the benefits of this interactive podcast. So this ain't like any other podcast you've ever experienced, right? This is new shit. We doing new shit with new verses for the new earth, breaking curses. You hear me? That's what we doing. So, yes. And we're going to share some music. Hopefully, we'll see how DJ E feeling, be in the vibe. We'll share some music, and just make it beautiful, and show our own selves that we can invest in ourselves, and we can make decisions that are going to benefit us and the generations connected to us. 7 backwards and 7 forward. Y'all already know what I'm about to say. Man, your third eye has just been kissed. Peace.